In this video, we are going to talk about describing the UI. It's going to be a random video. Not going to React JS in the React is a JavaScript library for rendering UI interfaces. UI is a build from small unit like button, text, images. React let us combine them into reusable and stable component from website to form phone apps. Everything on the screen can be broken down into component. In this chapter, you want to learn to create customized conditional and display React component. Your first React component. React application are built on the isolated piece of UI called component. Component is JavaScript function that can be sprinkled with markup. Component R can be small as a button or large as center page. Here is a gallery component rendering the profile components. Here to do this topic, importing and exporting component. You can declare many component in one page. For large file can get difficult to navigate. To solve this, you accept component on its own file and then import them in another file. Writing markup with JSX. Each React component is JavaScript function that may contain some markup that React can enter in browser. React component are used syntax like JSX to represent the markup. JSX look like HTML but is with sticker in display dynamic information. If you pass existing HTML markup in React component, it would not work. If you have existing HTML like this, you can fix this converter. JavaScript in JSX in Calibur. JSX lets you write HTML like markup inside JavaScript file, keeping rendering logic and content in same place. Sometimes you will want to little JavaScript logic and reference or dynamic property like. In this situation, you can call LibreSSG on JSX to open window of the JavaScript. Passing prop to a component. Passing prompt to a component. React components use props to communicate with each other. Each parenting component can pass some of the information for itself. Component for giving the props. Props might remind the HTML attribute, but you can pass any JavaScript value through them, including object or a function or even JSX. Underlay conditioning rendering. Your component often need to display different things depending on different condition. In React, you can conditionally render JSX JavaScript syntax like if and or operators. In this example, JavaScript and operator is usually conditionally render HTML. Rendering list. You often want to display multiple similar components from collection of data. You can use JavaScript filter map React to filter that array of component. For each array item, you need to specify key. Usually, you will want to use an ID from database as a key. Let you track your item ILS in the list even if not change. Keeping component pro. Some JavaScript function are pure function, mind its own business. It does not mean change any object or value that exists because it's called same input, same output units, same input. A pure function should always return same result. By strictly only writing your component as a pure function, you can avoid entire class baffling works and unpredictable behavior as your code base grow. Here example of impure component. You can make this component pure by passing the prop instead of modifying a pre-existing variable. Water next. Hand over your first component. Component are one of the core concept of the React. They are the foundation upon which user interface which make the star React journey. Component UI building blocks on the web as table. Let's create rich structure document. Built-in structure like tags like H1 and L1. The markup represent this article as heading h1 and abbreviated table of content as an order list. Mark like this combined with CSS for style, the JavaScript for interactivity like behind the sidebar avatar model drop down every piece of your UI can be web. React let you combine your markup CSS and JavaScript and custom component. Reusable UI element of the app. The table of the content code you show above the could be turned into a table of content component could use render. Under the hood, it still uses the same HTML tag like article h1 etc. Just like an HTML tag, you can compose, order, and nested component to design the whole page. For example, the documentation page reading is component React component. As your project grow, you will notice that as your project grow, you notice that many of the design can be composed by using component you already wrote, speeding up your development. Our table of content above the should. You can even jump start your project with use 1000 shared with React Open Live React Chakra UI material defining a component. Traditionally, when creating web pages, web developer marked up their component and added interaction by Spring some JavaScript. This work great with interaction wise, nice to have in a web. Now it expected to many site of all apps React put interactivity. While still using same technology, React component is a JavaScript function that can sprinkle with markers. Here what I look where that looks. Step 1. Export the component. The export component prefix standard JavaScript not specific to React. It let you mark the unmade function to file as the import. Step 2. The definition. With this function profile you can define JavaScript as a winner head markup. The component image tag that shows or attribute image is written like HTML but it actually JavaScript under the hood. The JS section it markup inside of JavaScript. Return statement can be written all line, but if your markup isn't all the same line or return keyword, you must wrap it with pair of parentheses using a component. Now that's your defined profile component, you can nest it down inside other component. For example, you can export gallery component that uses multiple profile components. What the browser sees. Now it is the difference in caching. Caption is lowercase, so React know we prefer HTML tag. Profile start with capital P. React know that we want to our component like profile. Nesting and organizing component. Component are regular JavaScript functions, so you keep multiply component in the same file. This is convenient when components are relatively small and tightly related to each other. If your file get crowded, you always move profile to separate file. You will learn how to do this for shortly on the page about import. Because the profile component are rendered inside gallery even several times, you can say that the gallery is parent component, rendering each profile as a child. This is a part of magic of React. You can define a component arrays one, then use it as many places as you thinks. Recap. You just got to a first taste of React. Let recap some of the point. Let create component usually UI for your app. In React app, every piece of UI is component. React component are real JavaScript function is the name start with capital letter. There written JSX. Okay, okay, okay. Importing and exporting component. The magic of component lies in their usability. You can create components that are composed of other component, but at the most the more component, it often makes sense to start splitting them into different files. This let you keep your file easy to and scan and reuse component in more places. The root component life. Your component, the first component you made profile component and gallery component under it. These currently live in root component file name fjs in this example. Depending on setup, your root component could be the another file though. If you use framework with file based routing such as next.js, your root component different for every page. Exporting and importing a component. If you want to change the landing screen of the future, put a list of science books there or place all the profiles on here. It makes sense to have a gallery or profile out of the root component. This makes other material reusable in the file. You can make other step, make a GJS and put them in component. Export your function component from this file. Default name export import it in the file when you use the component using corresponding technique for importing default name export. Both profile gallery have been moved out of app.js now into new file called gallery.js. Now you can change your app.js to import gallery from gallery.js. Define the profile component which is only used within the same file, not exported. Export the gallery component is default export. Import gallery is a default called import from gallery. Export the root component is a default export. Import gallery from dot import. Exporting and importing multiple components from the same file. If you want to show just profile instead of gallery, you can export profile component too, but gallery.js only default export. You can't have two default export. You can create a new file with default export, or you could add a name export of profile. A file have only one default export, but it have a numerous named export. Or export profile from gallery.js gallery using name export, then import profile gallery.js app.js using name import. Finally render profile from that component. Now gallery.js contain to export a default gallery export or name profile export. App.js import both of them. Try to editing profile to gallery to back this example. Now you are using mix of default name export gallery name the profile component name profile export the gallery component or default export. Import profile as a named import called profile from gallery. Import gallery as a default. Import from gallery.js. Export the root app component as a default export. Recap: on this page you have learned what a root component file is, how to import and export a component, and how to use default a name import and export, how to export multiple components from the same file. There are many challenges out here how you have to use it. I don't want to use, I just want to move to next lesson. Already around 13 minutes has been passed in the writing markup is JSX. JSX is a syntax extension for JavaScript that let you write HTML like markup inside JavaScript file. Although there is other ways to write component, most React developer will have to consider. Most code base use it. JSX putting markup into JavaScript. The web is built on HTML, CSS, JavaScript. For many years, web developer keep content HTML, design, CSS, logic in JavaScript, often in chapter and file. Content was marked inside HTML was logic lived separately in JavaScript. But the web become more interactive, logic increasingly determine content. JavaScript was changed. This was React rendering logic markup like together in same place. Keeping our rendering logic markup together ensure that they extending each other anyway. Conventionally detail the unrelated such as markup and sidebar markup isolated from each other, making it safer to change either or they are. Each React component is JavaScript function that may contain some markup that React render in the browser. React component use syntax extension like JSX to represent that markup. JSX look like HTML but is with string and can display dynamic information. The best way to understand convert HTML markup to JSX markup. Okay, HTML markup. So the rules of JSX: return a single root element. I know that. Close all the tags. JSX require tags to be explicit close self-closing tags. Image must end wrapping the. This is how Hedgy lemma image and list lowest. Camel case all of things. I know that. Pro tip: use a JSX converter. There is a JSX converter can you use. Recap: React component group rendering list together with markup and related JSX error messaging often point out the right direction of your markup. Okay, we have covered our JSX in this video. I think that's it for the video. Already about to complete 15 minutes in this video. Go and convert some HTML to JSX. Okay. Okay, that's it for the video. We'll see you next time. I'm moving a quite good speed. Already about to complete 100 video in this channel. That's good. That's great. With only six subscribers, but it doesn't matter. I don't care about them. I just care about my process. I just create daily videos. That's my goal. Thank you. See you next time.